Hi, my name is John Burton, and this is Barbara Schaefer, and we're going to talk a little bit about the London and Dublin course. I'm actually a professor in the history department. I've taught a number of study abroad programs before, although this is my first course to be taking students to London. And I'm very much looking forward to it. London's a city I love very much, have traveled to a great deal now, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with all of you. Barbara?
Hi, I'm Barbara Schaefer, and I have done quite a few study abroads. In fact, John Burton and I have done a couple study abroads together as well. And I have taken some students to Dublin and Ireland in general. And we, I think, have put together a series of two courses that dovetail with each other wonderfully as we look at public spaces and how they affect the individual in travel writing. John?
Yep, let me talk about my course first. So my course is called Museums, Monuments, and Memory, The Introduction to Public History. What the course is going to look at is specifically how history and heritage is portrayed to the general public. How do they consume it? How do they learn about places and their history? And this is something that is a little bit different than studying history from books in an academic classroom. We're going to really look at places, museums, historic houses, palaces, to really understand how people lived in the past. And our particular focus in public history is going to be social history, understanding how people lived from the Middle Ages through actually to the 20th century, and get a better understanding of how places and things can further inform that knowledge. Barbara?
Yes, and so my course is going to take many of those same places, although clearly they're different in Dublin as they are in London, but we're going to look at those places and how the traveler or the visitor to those places interprets that in terms of their identity and how they understand the past and how they write about it. So we'll be going to places both in London and Dublin. For example, we'll be going to Trinity College. We'll be going to visit the site of St. Patrick. We're going on a literary pub crawl. And then you get the opportunity to write about those places. But of course, as John has pointed out, that is how the countries have defined themselves through their public spaces.
Let me talk a little bit about London and what we're going to see and what it's like when we're getting there. We'll start in London. We're staying at a hotel in Bloomsbury, which is the university section of London, very close to the University of London. It's a very student-oriented neighborhood, which should be a great time. And it's walkable to many of the sites within London itself. You'll get breakfast each day. It's a relatively new hotel built in the 1970s. While we're in London, we're going to really see many of the big sites. We'll see and get a sense of what medieval life was like at the Tower of London, what life was like in the Tudor period at Hampton Court Palace. We're also going to go to smaller house museums to get a sense of what life was like for people in the 18th and 19th century. So it's a real chance to understand a wide variety of peoples of different classes, and people of different backgrounds and what their lives were like in London. Barbara, do you want to talk a little bit about Dublin?
I sure do. So in Dublin, we will be staying in a hotel called Harding House, which in fact is from the Middle Ages. I mean, not the ultimate structure, but underneath you can see, and they've put glass over it, you can see some of the foundation of the water in the Middle Ages, of the water ducts, thank you, of the Middle Ages. We will be staying in the Old City. The Old City has quite a bit of history. Many of us think of Ireland and St. Patrick and St. Patrick's Day. We will be visiting the St. Patrick's Day site, but we will also focus on a more, if not current, a more modern approach as we look at the relationship between London and Dublin and the colonization of the English of the Irish. And we will be going to Kilmainham Jail, which is the site of the Troubles and the beginning of the Troubles, then ultimately with 1916 and the ultimate partition of Northern Ireland from Ireland. So I think you will enjoy. We're also staying in the university area because that is the Old City by Trinity College. And I think these two courses together make a very exciting experience for you, our students.
Um,
John?
just, yes, just a few sort of how the course sort of operates. You'll be registered for one course in autumn and one course in winter. However, you'll actually be working on the material for both courses over both terms. So during the fall quarter, you'll be meeting with both Barbara and myself weekly to sort of learn the background you need to be good travelers and good public historians. We'll spend our time in London and Dublin in December. And then on our return, we will have some time for you to finish up your work and get things in that you need to do on that term. I know that both Barbara and I are really excited about the possibility that you could come to with us on our trip, and Barbara will give some details on when exactly the study abroad fair is.
Yes, so we get to meet you. I don't know if there's a word for Zoom meetings yet, you know, because I guess virtual meetups might be the term here. But on May 29th, there is a study abroad fair, which lets you know about a lot of the trips that are planned for this coming year. And we hope to meet you at that time. You can find out more information about that fair on the study abroad website.
In the meantime, have a good spring term. I hope everything is very successful for you. It's a harder and more difficult way to learn than many of us are used to, but stay well and stay safe. And we'd love to hear from you soon.